Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So I am back with another video, and I don't know if you guys can tell from the eyeshadow that I'm wearing right now, but I am basically going to be doing a review, and I will also show you a quick tutorial on how I got this makeup look. I'll at least show you the eyeshadow look. I don't know if I'll show you my skin makeup. It depends on how long the video ends up being. But basically today's video is going to be on the new KYLIE Royal Peach palette. So yeah, if you guys want to see how I got this look, and if you want to hear my review on the palette, then keep on watching. So let's get right into the video. So basically I am going to be talking about, like I said already, the Royal Peach palette. This is what the outside box looks like. And as you can see, it's KYLIE's eyes on the outside box. So the palette comes with 12 eyeshadows, and this is this is the outside packaging. And once you pull the palette out of here, you basically get KYLIE's name on the front of the palette. So there was a lot of controversy, also people saying that the palette smelled like Regina, like kitty cat, puss. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, they said that it smelled like that. So I actually received this in the mail yesterday, and I was prepared and kind of really scared to open it because I thought it was going to smell like somebody's kitty cat, but I was pleasantly surprised and happy that it did not smell like Regina or whatever you want to call it, you know. In Spanish we call it pan. There's a lot of names for it, but anyway, I was really happy that it didn't smell like that. So it does have a strong smell, but it is not of down there smell. It smells like chemicals. I don't know who said that it smells like down there, but it definitely does not smell like somebody's Regina at all. It smells like chemicals. So when I opened it, I was kind of trying to smell the outside packaging because I thought maybe it was coming from the packaging itself. But when you have the palette like this, it doesn't smell like anything. Like, you can actually put your nose right to the packaging and it does not smell like chemicals whatsoever. It doesn't smell like down there. It doesn't smell like anything. Now, when you open the palette, the smell hits you in the face. It is such a strong chemical smell. I can't even describe it because it doesn't smell like makeup. You know, sometimes you get some makeup that has like that makeup-y chemical smell. This doesn't smell like that. It just literally smells like chemicals. And if you actually put your nose right to the shadows, you almost get like a burning sensation in your nose when you smell it because it's that strong. But again, it's kind of weird because once you put the shadows on your brush and you start to do your eye makeup, you can't really smell it as you're doing your makeup. You can only smell it when you put your nose to the palette or as soon as you open it. Like holding it here, like if I hold it right here, I can't smell it. But as soon as you open the palette, like the smell just really hits you in the face. I mean, it's really strong. So I really don't know exactly where the smell is coming from. But again, at least it's not a puss smell. It's just a chemical smell. Not that that's any better, but if I had to pick out of the two, I would pick chemical than having to smell like Regina on my face. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so let's get into the palette. The palette does have a mirror here and it has her name on the inside again. There are 12 eyeshadows and it does come with a makeup brush. This is actually the only palette out of all of her palettes that have a brush and a mirror included. Whatever, I have her other palette over there somewhere. The other palettes are a lot more, they're smaller and they're like a square shape and they don't have a mirror, they don't have a brush included. So this one came with a mirror, it came with a brush, and you guys will see that I used the brush during the tutorial and it's actually a pretty good brush. I ended up really liking it because I do have a smaller lid space and crease space, so it really actually worked out for me really well. So I'm going to be using this probably a lot. It blended out really well. I don't know, I really liked it, and I like the color of it too. I like how it's gold and then it has the rose gold and it has the white handle on it. So I really liked the actual brush. Now, I could definitely do without the chemical smell. The way that the shadows blended, they blended quite nicely, but I don't know how to, like, it's not, I'm not gonna say they were amazing. They're definitely not like super buttery when you put them on. When you touch them to your finger, they don't feel like a Makeup Geek eyeshadow, which is, I normally compare all of my eyeshadows to Makeup Geek because Makeup Geek and Anastasia Beverly Hills are two of my top eyeshadows. They feel very buttery, they blend really nicely, and they're just really, really great shadows. So I usually compare all my palettes and shadows to those two brands just because I think that they're the best quality out there right now. So when I compare the texture and feeling of these shadows to those brands, they definitely don't feel as buttery. And when you go to blend on your eye, you do have to go in a couple of times to get really good pigment. So what her website says about the palette and how they describe it, so basically there are 12 eyeshadows in the palette. They are 0.05 ounces in each of the little pots, and then total eyeshadow you get 1.40 grams in total, but each of the pans are 0.05 ounces. So they basically describe it as, it says, I'll read what the actual website says. So it says the Kylie Cosmetics Eyeshadow Pressed Powder Eyeshadow Palette is your secret weapon to create the perfect Kylie eye. Each Royal Peach palette comes with 12 pressed powder eyeshadows that can be used together to recreate Kylie's favorite looks or your own. So I believe I paid $45 for it. I will double check, and if I'm wrong, I will put it in here somewhere. But I believe I paid $45 for it. And again, if you guys have the money for it and you want to just add the palette to your collection, I say go for it. I really liked the shimmer colors in the palette, and I definitely loved the blue. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you guys are into makeup, you want to collect it, I say go for it. Like, if you are the type of person that is collecting every single Kylie product and makeup product, you know, and you want to add it to your collection, then definitely go for it. But if you're someone that kind of picks and chooses what palettes they get, it's not in your budget, then I say you can probably skip it, because you can find a lot of these shades in other palettes. And to be honest, it's a good palette, but it's not amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a Makeup Geek quality eyeshadow. That's basically how I can compare it and how I can describe it to you guys. It is an okay palette. It's not something that, like, if you buy, you're not gonna use, but it would not be like my go-to palette. Do you know what I mean? As of right now, it's sold out again. But normally what she does is that she has restocks like every week, every 2 weeks. So if you guys really, really want it, keep an eye out for her website. And you can also go on her website and put your email address and get sign up for notifications. That way, when it restocks, you can get a notification that it's back in stock, and you can go and get it. And now let me stop talking and let me show you guys how I got this look. I'll show you the swatches, and then that's it. We'll be done. So to begin this eyeshadow look, I am first priming my eyes using MAC's Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. Next, I'm going to be using Makeup Geek's White Lies in the brow bone area. I couldn't really find a color that I liked in the Kylie palette for the brow bone, so yeah. Next, I'm going to be using Sorbet as my transition color, and I am using a Sigma E38 brush. Next, I am using Peachy and applying that into the crease area using the brush that came with the Kylie palette, which is very close to the MAC 217 brush. And then I'm going to take my Sigma E38 and just make sure that I buff all of those colors out and bringing it to the outer corner as well. Next, I am going to be using the color Cinnamon, and I am going to go over the color Peachy just to darken the look. Later on, I discovered that the palette on the website is actually described as a medium buildable palette, so that is why you have to go in a few times to build up the color. On the lid, I am going to be applying the color Mojito, and I'm just using my Luxie Beauty concealer brush. And then apparently we're about to smell the brush. Does it smell like chemicals? Nope, it doesn't, Catherine. Next, I'm coming in with my Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper, and I'm just going to create a wing. For lashes, I am wearing Dolls Just Wanna Have Fun by Shop Violet Voss. I love these because they look like the eyelash extensions that KYLIE wears. So I went ahead and did my face makeup off camera, and then we are going to be applying Royal on the lower lash line. So in this clip here, you can see that the eyeshadows are definitely, like they describe, a medium buildable coverage, because the more that I go in, the more I can build up the color. And because it's just as important to blend out our lower lash line, I'm coming in with the color Peachy to blend that ish out. I have no idea why my voice got this low, and I don't know what's going on. But anyway, for the waterline, I am going to be using the Balm's Nude Mechanical Pencil. Yes, girl. Just keep going. I wasn't sure about the nude or if I should do a black, but I just stayed with the nude. For the inner corner, I think I ended up using a Bare Minerals eyeshadow in the color Queen Phyllis. And for lips, I am using the this is by Tarte, and this is in the shade Bestie, I believe. It's one of my favorites by Tarte. So that is it for this eyeshadow tutorial, and I'm gonna see you next in a few seconds to show you the swatches and show you all the receipts from KYLIE Cosmetics and all of my testing. So in this episode of Does This Eyeshadow Palette Really Smell? I'm just kidding. Let me show you the swatches, and then we are going to go on and I'm going to show you exactly where the smell is coming from. I'm just going to show you the palette again really quickly. This is the outside of the box. The inside of the palette comes with 12 shadows. It includes how many shimmers? I don't really know, but we're about to find out. So we're gonna get started with the swatching first, and then I will go on to show you the testing and the reply from KYLIE Cosmetics. So I decided I'm gonna show you how these shades swatch both ways. So first up, we have Sorbet, which is described as a matte finish light tangerine color, and this is how it swatches with my finger. And then next up, we have how it swatches with the brush. Next up, we have the color Seashell, and Seashell is described as a metallic finish pink champagne color. Next, we have the color Peachy, and Peachy is described as a matte finish bright peach color. And from the swatch here, you can see how it swatches kind of patchy, so I am going to go over and blend it out just to show you guys the true color of the shadow. But there you have it. And then here's how it's swatching with the brush. I did have to build up the color to show you guys a true swatch. Next, we have the color Royal, and Royal is described as a satin finish bright royal blue, and it's definitely a very, very pretty color, and you can definitely build up its intensity. Next, we have the color Queen Bee, and Queen Bee is described as a metallic finish shimmering caramel. And I really liked this color. This is how it's swatched with my finger. And with the brush, I had a little bit of a hard time, but once I built up the color, it was totally fine. Next, we have Duke, and Duke is described as a metallic finish red copper. And you can see how hard I'm pressing on the color, so it's not like I was trying to do any trickery here. Next, here's how it's swatching with the brush, and I feel like this one did a little bit better with the brush, but again, I had to really press down hard and build up the color. I also feel that because it is swatching on the back of the arm, obviously I don't have eyeshadow primer on my arm, so I feel like with the eyeshadow primer, these perform much better. Next, we have the color Duchess, and Duchess is described as a metallic finish, bright cinnamon color, and this one I loved so much. Next, we have the color Sandy, and Sandy is a matte finish medium tan. And again, I'm just blending it in with my finger to show you guys the true color, because with the first swipe of the finger, it does look a little patchy. And then I'm just going to build it up with the makeup brush. So as you can see, this was another one of the shades that gave me a hard time building up the color. You can see how hard I'm pressing down on the makeup brush. And yeah, but I wanted to make sure that I did this so that you could see how you could build it up, you know. Next up, we have the color Mojito, and this is described as a metallic finish golden green. This is the color that we're wearing on the lid today, and it's a beautiful color. Don't you just love it? It's so pretty. It's one of my faves from this palette. And with the brush, it did not swatch well, but as you guys saw from my tutorial, I actually had no problems applying this on my lid. So there you have it, folks. You know, maybe we're not being fair by swatching on the back of the arm to these shadows. I don't know. Next, we have the color North Star, and this is described as a metallic finish soft lilac. And I really think that eyeshadow primer makes a huge difference. I don't ever not use eyeshadow primer. I use eyeshadow primer with every single eyeshadow palette that I own. Next, we have the color Crush, and this is described as a satin finish peachy pink color. And here is Crush with the brush. That rhymes. Crush with the brush. Yes, I want to keep rhyming, but I won't. And lastly, we have the color Cinnamon, which is another one of my favorites. And this is described as a matte finish burnt orange, and I really did not have a hard time with this when I applied it to my crease, and there's my phone. But yeah, you can see how with the brush here it looks a little patchy and it looks like you have to build up the color, but as you guys saw from the tutorial, the color actually performed really well. There you have it. That is all of the eyeshadow colors swatched. And now let's talk about the smell of this palette. So on January 26, 2017 at 11:40 a.m. I emailed KYLIE Cosmetics, and this is the email that I sent. You can feel free to pause here because if I read it myself, it's gonna take forever. So they actually got back to me in less than 3 hours, and this was their response. And I was like, wait a minute. Pause. I was quite shocked by the response, and I was like, there's no way that this is going to work, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So I went home, I did what they asked me to do, and I emailed this back a few minutes later questioning it, because I was like, there's no way, like this doesn't make any sense, you know? And this is when I kicked myself in the butt, and I should have maybe not said that I was doing a review, but I really wanted to be fair. So they got back to me with this email. So by this point, I had already started all of my testing. So I'm actually going to show you the results of all of that now.
6 hours later.
So here are my shadows just hanging out. It's like 5 hours later, and they are still stinky.
Day 2.
So it is now Friday. I decided to leave the palettes opened last night. I decided to leave them both opened because if the smell is coming from the inside of here, then this is what we want to leave opened. And obviously, if it's not coming from the shadows, we want to air the eyeshadows out. They both have a smell to them still, so I will check back in later or tomorrow.
3 days later.
Hi guys, so it is Saturday night at around 1 o'clock in the morning. Technically Sunday morning. I just wanted to give you an update and let you know that the eyeshadows do not smell anymore. They actually smell pretty good. They smell like a regular normal eyeshadow. When I open up the Z palette from Makeup Geek, I don't get any chemical smell hitting me in the face at all. I did take mine out of the packaging because the smell, like they said, is coming from an adhesive inside the packaging. So I wanted to take mine out and leave them open like this just so that I could air out the inside of the pans. The actual packaging still has a slight scent to it. It still smells a little bit like chemicals. So I think I'm just going to try to leave it open for a few more hours and see what happens. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys the update, and yeah, that's it. So if you guys have the Royal Peach palette, I definitely recommend doing this, and I think it should definitely help because I'm telling you, the eyeshadows do not smell at all anymore. Like nothing, zero. The packaging again still has a very slight scent to it, but nothing like it was at first. Alright guys, so that was it for this video. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you liked the eyeshadow look and that I was able to help in some way. Again, these are just my opinions. I'm not like a, professional that works making eyeshadows, so I really don't know much of like the chemistry behind it. All I know is how they felt on my eyes and how they blended to me. So I hope that at least my opinion is able to help you guys in some way. But yeah, I hope that you like the video, and if you guys do decide to recreate this look, tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Don't forget to follow us on Snapchat, Instagram, all those social medias. I'll leave all the information down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.